The first thing I remember is the weight. Not the weight of a mission pack or a rifle, but something softer, warmer. My son, barely an hour old, wrapped in a pale blue blanket, his tiny fingers gripping my thumb, like he already knew I'd never let go. My wife, Naomi, was still catching her breath, hair damp, cheeks flushed, but there was a light in her face I'd never seen before. For a moment, the whole damn world felt like it finally made sense. No deployments, no classified shadows, no ghosts from deserts and jungles. Just the three of us. And then the door slammed open like we were under siege. Two uniforms stormed in. The older one's stocky bulldog face had a nameplate that read Sergeant Larkin. The younger one, badge crooked, kept shifting his weight like he'd rather be anywhere else. "Step away from the baby," Larkin barked, not even glancing at my son. I stood up, my voice calm but low. "I'm his father. She's his mother. You can check the birth records." "Hell," asked the nurses standing right outside. I said, "Step away." He cut me off, hand hovering over his holster like I was some armed suspect. Naomi's voice broke. "Please, I just gave birth. He's barely an hour old." Larkin smirked. Funny how everybody's got a story. Before I could close the space between us, he lunged. One second, my son was in Naomi's arms. The next, she was screaming a sound I will never ever forget as he ripped him away. She tried to reach, and his elbow caught her in the ribs, sending her crashing against the bed rail. I grabbed his wrist, on instinct, my grip like iron, but the younger cop fumbled for his radio and chaos exploded. And then, the moment I can't erase, Larkin threw my son. The world slowed. I swear I could hear the air leave my chest before Isaiah's no, before Caleb's head hit the tile. That crack. There's no sound like it. Not in war, not anywhere. Just final. Naomi collapsed beside me, sobbing, hands reaching for a body that wasn't breathing anymore. And Larkin, he brushed his hands off like he'd just taken out the trash. Should have listened. Could have avoided this. I wanted to tear him apart right there. Every cell in my body screamed for it. But another voice, colder, quieter, whispered, "Not yet." They dragged me out in cuffs before I could say goodbye to my wife or my son. The cell they put me in stank of stale coffee and bleach. I didn't move, didn't speak, didn't even blink when the chief came to clear things up and tell me it was all a misunderstanding. The second I stepped outside, I didn't go home. I didn't go back to the hospital. I drove 30 miles into the dark, parked on a forest road, and pulled out a phone most people don't even know exists. Pressed my thumb to the sensor. 2 words on the screen. Ghost Protocol. That night, Marcus Kane died on paper. The world got Sentinel-6 back. The first call I made was to Tessa Morales, a hacker who once had a future at the NSA, until she blew the whistle on their domestic surveillance. She owed me a favor. "Where do we start?" she asked. "Find everything on Larkin, his partner, the chief, and anyone else tied to that night. And while you're at it, pull every excessive force complaint in this city for the last 10 years. She didn't even look up from her keyboard. Copy that. 2 days later, she had it. A digital graveyard. Minority victims, missing body cam footage, internal investigations that cleared everyone. Caleb's case was just another file to them, 2 paragraphs long, labeled "Case Closed." But we had something they didn't. The body cam video. When I watched it, I didn't flinch. I wanted every frame seared into me. Then we started the warnings. Larkin found an envelope taped inside his front door, a still frame of him mid-throw, my son's blanket frozen in the air. On the back, "You remember the sound." His partner woke up to satellite photos of his family's daily routine, no threats, just proof someone was watching. By the end of the week, the precinct was jumpy, changing patrol routes, checking lockers twice a day. But the real hit came when we sent the footage to 3 national outlets at once. By nightfall, justice for Caleb was trending across the country. People marched with candles, chanting his name alongside dozens of others who never got theirs. The city thought they could bury me under legalese and paperwork. So I walked into the civilian review board hearing in a black suit, no medals, no uniform, and dropped four names on the table, every one of them a repeat offender in shootings and fabricated arrests. The families I'd reached out to beforehand stood up one after another telling their stories. The board tried to gavel them quiet, but I told them this is exactly in order. You just don't like the sound of it. That's when I learned Caleb's death wasn't random. Tessa traced the operational order back to a private security firm run by a man named Colin Mercer, a former CIA handler who'd once signed my deployment papers. And Mercer, he was working for the architect of the whole damn thing, General Everett Sloan, my old commanding officer. We grabbed Mercer in an underground garage between his gym sessions. He didn't break easily, but eventually he gave up Sloan's name and location. You were his best, Mercer smirked. Maybe he just wanted to see if the product still works under pressure. He didn't test me, I told him. He woke me up. Sloan's headquarters code name, the Bastion, was a fortress, but it still used legacy clearance systems, and I still had a colonel's ID they had forgotten to deactivate. I walked in like I belonged there. Third floor data center, plugged in Tessa's drive. The upload was at 62% when Sloan stepped through the door in a tailored suit, smiling like, he still owned me. You think emotion beats order, he asked. This isn't emotion, I told him. It's truth. We fought two men who'd learned the same moves from the same playbook, except mine were sharpened by something he had never had the rage of a father with nothing left to lose. In my ear, Tessa counted down. I bought her 30 seconds, slammed him against the server rack, and the upload hit 100%. Files went out to journalists, oversight committees, watchdog groups. Names, orders, funding trails, every rotten root of the system exposed. The next morning, news broke before anyone had their coffee. Generals resigning, cops indicted, cities reopening cases we thought were dead, protesters holding Caleb's face in the air like a banner. Naomi watched it from our couch, her eyes still hollow, but burning with something fierce. We didn't just light a fire, she said. We lit every match they've been hiding. And then, Sloan appeared in a grainy cell phone video during a live news broadcast. You've made your move, Kane, he said. But the game isn't over. I taught you to win battles, not wars. See you soon. 2 weeks later, I stood before the Senate Oversight Committee. This isn't just my story, I told them. It's the story of every family told to wait for justice that never came. What we exposed wasn't a mistake, it was the design. When the hearing adjourned, I walked outside into the cold. Naomi was waiting. We didn't speak until we got home. Caleb's photo sat on the mantel, candlelight flickering over his smile. I took her hand. It's not over, I said. No, she answered. But it's a start. You tell me, how far would you go if it was your child? Would you stop when the headlines faded? Or would you keep going until the whole damn system had to answer for every name it buried? Leave your thoughts below, because this fight isn't mine alone. It's ours.